Jerry is on the Humorously Speaking Manual, which is always fun. And he's on Project 5, the Humorous Speech. The objectives is use exaggeration to tell a humorous story. And entertain the audience. And the last objective is to effectively use body language and voice to enhance the story. So let's welcome up Jerry.
A farmer was walking down towards a pond on his property. As he was walking down this path, he happened to see a little toad, or a bullfrog, I should say, on the path. And he picked it up, he looked at the bullfrog, and he started flicking his pocket. And all of a sudden, the bullfrog goes, hey, you know what? If you kiss me on the lips, I will turn into a beautiful farmer's wife. The old farmer looked at the bullfrog and started putting it back in his pocket. The bullfrog goes, hey, did you hear what I said? The farmer goes, hey, at my age, I'd rather have a talking frog. You know, looking at animals like that, we think it's kind of funny they're trying to talk. But have you ever had a pet that could almost talk? I had a dog that was so smart, he could actually talk. Well, he could move his mouth. I could teach him tricks, and he'd learn tricks just like that. But we bought a book on tricks, 30 tricks within a month. He learned every trick. And he wouldn't forget it. And I could go up and go, Pole, you want to go for a hike? And go, and move his mouth like, so he tried to talk, but he couldn't talk. But dogs are really smart. You know, one of the smartest dogs is Lassie. Is there anybody here who does not know who Lassie is? Will you raise your hand? Everybody knows who Lassie is? Lassie was in the movies like TV, in the movies back in the 50s up to the early 60s. Lassie was a collie. She was really smart. You all have heard the story of Lassie, where Timmy and Lassie, which is Timmy's master, were out in the woods, and all of a sudden they run into a well. And Timmy's looking into the well, and next thing he knows, boom, he falls into the well. He's at the bottom of the well, he looks up and goes, Lassie, go back to the house and tell my parents I'm in the well. And Lassie goes, runs back to the house. Goes up to Timmy's daddy and starts pulling on his hand. Like, Dad goes, Mom goes, hey, what's wrong, Lassie? And Lassie goes, what? Timmy's lost? Oh, Timmy's in the well? Take us to him. So Lassie and the parents run off and they save Timmy. Collies are smart. They're called a border dog. They go out and they herd. They've been raised to herd like border collies, you know, but a rough collie like Lassie, what they do is they've been bred to herd cattle and sheep. Now, when my parents inherited the farm, we moved to that farm. My dad built a house. Nice, beautiful, brand new farmhouse, white. Behind the farmhouse was the backyard. Behind the backyard was this pasture, about 1 acre, had a high fence all the way around it. And then behind it was a horse pasture. Behind it was where the cattle were, and there's about 20 acres in the cattle were. There were about 20 cows that we had. We were in a general farming thing, so we basically farmed. So we didn't have a herd of cattle. We only had about 20 cattle. And they were out there. And one day, my mom, because our original dog died when we first got on the farm, decided she wanted her dream dog for the farm. So what kind of dog did she pick? Lassie. Because that was the dog she used to love watching that show. So she went out, and with some friends' help, she found a collie to buy. And she came back with this collie. Beautiful. I mean, beautiful dog. Long hair. I mean, you saw that. It was prettier than Lassie. This dog was beautiful. And so my mom was really happy. In fact, the dog was purebred. The dog's name, it was Tina Princess Maria. It gives you an indication of the purity of the breed. So we had this beautiful dog. My mom was happy because the dog would run around in front of the house and lay out in front of people would drive by and go, oh, beautiful farm, beautiful dog. So she's happy. One day, we were all gone, and we came back late in the afternoon, and you could tell something was wrong. He's running back and forth, looking, running back and forth. And like, you know, the real lassie, we went up and said, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" We were looking, and the head was pointing down the road. And he looked over to where there was a hole in the fence. We went, "Oh, there's a hole in the fence." We looked out in the field, the cattle were all gone. Now, you're probably all thinking I'm talking about the dog, right? No, I'm not talking about the dog. That collie was beautiful, but it was dumb as a doornail. It would lay on the lawn, and even that day, it was laying on the backyard lawn. Could care less, the cows were. I'm talking about the smart animal, the horse. Well, it was a horse that was sitting there going, pointing down the road, and his ears were pointing where the cattle went. He knew exactly where they went. He was a quarter horse. He was a herder. He knew how to herd. It was great. Now, you had to be careful. You put the saddle on, get on the horse, but you had to make sure all the gates were open. Sister ours had a problem. He loved jumping fences. And he would jump with you on it. So if the gates weren't open, he would jump a fence like a deer. And if the gates weren't open, he would just take you with him and go over the gate. So we left the gates open and went out to get cattle. He knew right where we were. He ran down the gravel road all about 2 miles. And out in the field where they had harvested the corn were all the cows. He just let them loose. He used to herd them up, got them all together, herded them back down the road, brought them back for him, didn't have to do anything. He was that smart. So, what's the moral of the story? Well, I guess if there's a moral, and that is, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Not a very good moral. I think I might have time to take a gamble on this. Let me tell you another story. There was a bull underneath a tree, sitting there in the shade, and a turkey comes up. He goes, "Oh, I'd love to be able to crawl to the top of that, like the top of that tree." And the bull goes, "Why don't you?" He goes, "I just don't have the energy." "Well, I'll tell you what, I want you to eat my droppings." He goes, "Are you kidding me? Eat your droppings?" He goes, "Yeah, they're nutritious. They got grain in them and everything. They're known to be nutritious." And the turkey goes, "Okay." So the turkey eats the droppings. First day, turkey's on the first limb. Second day, turkey's on the middle limb. Go on. Third day, the turkey's at the top. Turkey's sitting up there proud like an eagle, looking around. And also the farmer walks out of the house, sees the turkey walk top of the tree, and he goes in and gets a shotgun. Boom! Kills the turkey. Moral of the story? Some of you know it. BS might get you to the top, but it won't keep you there.